What's going on, everybody? Magic Geek Corner here again. So I've had a little bit of time to play the Resident Evil 3 demo that recently released, and I have really nothing but good things to say about it. This is mainly just my first impressions on it. I've played it a couple times, I've died multiple times in the demo, and I've just had different outcomes in the various times that I've played it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and go into detail about some of the things I liked about the demo. Like I said, not a whole lot of bad or negative, mostly good. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Okay, so let's start with the characters. I'm saving the big bad for last, but first off, I want to just talk about the characters that we do see in the demo. Obviously, we see Jill because we're playing as her, Carlos and Mikhail from the original Resident Evil 3. Jill and Carlos still have that back and forth with each other that they did in the original. He's probably a little more out there with the, hitting on her this time around. She's still got that sass, if not even more than she did before. I did notice that Carlos does sound a little bit like Keanu Reeves. I don't know why, but the more I listen to it, the more I hear his voice when he talks. A couple of funny lines are she's trying to get to this energy or electrical plant, and he's talking to her, but he's hitting on her at the same time, and so she's basically just tells him to screw off pretty much. And I just think it's funny that they've raised it up a little bit with the back and forth between them. Mikhail, you don't really see a whole lot of him. He's only in the first cutscene, and that's about it. He's talking to Jill about she's the best of the best, pretty much, from the RPD S.T.A.R.S, or he calls them the Special Tactics and Rescue, which is S.T.A.R.S. Pretty much not a whole lot with the characters. You don't see any other main characters in the demo. You do see a lot of zombies, but you don't see any other human characters. Not until the end trailer that they show, where you do see Kendo again, you do see Marvin, you do see Nikolai, just a bunch of different characters. And I'm curious, honestly, to see how Kendo and Marvin play into this game, because they were not in the original Resident Evil 3. They were both in Resident Evil 2, but they were not in the third game. They were briefly mentioned. Kendo was mentioned in the third game, and you saw Marvin was already dead from his bite, or he was just unconscious, but you do see him lying on the ground in the original Resident Evil 3. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work with him. But pretty much that's it for the characters. So let me go ahead and get into the gameplay. Okay, so let's get into the gameplay. It's a lot of the same that we saw in Resident Evil 2 from last year. I mean, it is using the same engine from RE2 and RE7, but they did add a dodge mechanic in this one, similar to how it was in the original Resident Evil 3, as well as the quick turn that is also returned. I have not really perfected the dodge mechanic yet. I did do a perfect dodge a couple of times, but I'm not sure what I did to trigger that. It was just random. And the quick turn I didn't really use a whole lot of. I'm sure once I get the main game I will be using it a lot more. But the quick dodge does help, especially if you have a bunch of zombies around you. I did get captured a few times when I was trying to do that and got caught up in the zombies' grasp. But you have the option to push them off you by pressing the X or the A button. That one I haven't really perfected yet either. I don't know what it is, but I was pushing the button. It's similar to the QuickTime events from Resident Evil 6, and it just was not triggering when I was pushing the button. So I don't know if it was a PS4 issue with the demo or what, because I knew some people who were playing it on Xbox and they were able to get the zombies off of them by pushing the A button. So hopefully, if it is an issue with the demo, they fix it by the time the game comes out, or if they haven't already. Not too much new in the gameplay. It's, like I said, a lot of the same. I did notice that if you're playing a demo a certain way, so I've played it twice. and depending on how you play it, you can either get the shotgun before you encounter Nemesis or after. When I played it the first time, I ran through and I had no idea where I was going. I was just going in circles because that's what the demo is. It's just one big circle. I did get the shotgun, and then I got the hose, which you need to get to the end of the demo. And so that's when I ran into Nemesis the first time, and it just kind of ended. So I was like, oh, well, that wasn't really anything. I didn't get to fight him. The second time around, I did get to fight him. So it just depends on how you play the game, whether you get the shotgun before or after you encounter him. Now, one thing I do want to point out that I did not know about is if you die in the demo, you have the option to start playing again in assisted mode. Now, this is the basically easy mode. It's auto aim. You regenerate health if you're critically injured, only to a certain point, and then you also get the assault rifle. So I do recommend playing in the assisted mode just to try out the assault rifle. I do hope it's not a assisted mode only thing to get that gun, because I really want to use it in the main game, especially against Nemesis and some of the, higher enemies like the hunters and the giant worm, the spider monsters, the Demios, the sewer monsters that look like chimeras from the first game. But pretty much I didn't notice anything new with the gameplay other than the dodge mechanic and the quick turn. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Nemesis, because I have a lot to say about him and the little bit of time I spent running away from him. Okay, so I always knew that Nemesis in the Resident Evil 3 remake was going to be 10 times worse than Mr. X was in Resident Evil 2, because that's how it was in the originals. He was just a lot more of a threat to you than Mr. X was, whereas Mr. X, you could just kind of run away from him and not worry about it. But Nemesis, he chases you literally through rooms. When I first encountered him, like I said, it was quick. I didn't really get to do anything. The second time I encountered him, I had just put the hose into the item box and needed to go back and get it, so I was trying to run away from him. So I ran into the donut shop, and when I came back out the other side, I said, okay, well, he's gone, but I can still hear his music, and I'm sitting here going, okay, he's somewhere here. I don't know where he is, but we'll find him. He's probably behind me somewhere. No, he jumps from building to building following you, and he'll just jump out of nowhere and appear, and it kind of scared me a little bit, and I'm sitting here going, oh man, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. So I had to run away from him, and he infects zombies now. This is a new mechanic he has where he just turns their head into a giant eyeball, is what it looked like to me. And they also have tentacles that can hit you too. So I'm kind of running away, and I'm getting hit by this tentacle, and I can't figure out why or where he is. I'm turning around going, where is he? And that's when I noticed that this zombie thing has a tentacle that he's hitting me with as well. Now, as I'm playing the demo, I'm noticing all these red barrels and electrical current transformers that had fallen down. So I'm looking at those going, okay, don't shoot any of these, because this is clearly meant for Nemesis when he's chasing after you. It's meant to slow him down. Now, if the opportunity comes and you're getting overrun by zombies, then yeah, you definitely want to use that barrel to your advantage. But I tried not to, and sure enough, it did help me get away from him a few times. And I was told by a few people that he'll chase you into the donut shop, but he didn't chase me into the donut shop. He jumped over the donut shop and chased me when I came back out the other side. But I do know that he will chase you into one of the buildings that has just an open door, meaning a door that does not close, it's just open. He will chase you into that area, but as far as the other areas where you can go in and shut the door behind you, he won't chase behind you. He'll just disappear, but he's not gone. He'll come back as soon as you walk outside. And I just think he's going to be a bigger threat than he was in the original Resident Evil 3. He didn't chase you through some rooms. Like eventually he would stop chasing you in the old one, and this one I believe he just keeps chasing you until you know, knock him down and stall him. But I'm pretty excited to, and scared at the same time, to fight him. I have heard that if you stun him, he does drop items like he did in the original, so he'll drop ammo and everything. So I'm curious as to if you can get him to actually stop following you in the game for a while, whereas Mr. X, he would just constantly be following you through Resident Evil 2, and the only way you could stop him is if you just knocked him down, knocked him kind of unconscious. But other than that, at some points in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, he did stop following you. Even if you didn't stall him or anything, he stopped following you. So I'm wondering if they're going to implement that into this one. But pretty much that's it on my thoughts and impressions of the demo. I can't wait to play the game in a couple of weeks. Anyways, that about sums up my thoughts and impressions on the demo. If you guys have had a chance to play the demo, I'd love to hear what you thought about it, what you might expect from the game, the full game itself, or what you're hoping for in the full game. If you're excited for Project Resistance, let's talk about that too, because I'm excited for that one as well. I plan to play the beta for that when it releases later in the week. But as always, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified of when videos go live. And as always, I will see you on the next episode. Y'all take it easy.